Have fun plans for the outdoors? Make the memories last with the best outdoor coolers and drinkware. Celebrating 10 years of cool, Orca was founded in 2012, born from the idea of making a hard-sided cooler that beat out all the rest. Orca coolers are built to be as strong as the adventures you take them on. That's why they have a lifetime warranty while giving you world-class maximum temperature retention. Orca's drinkware offers the same high quality, keeping your drinks icy cold or hot for hours, and they look great while doing it. Their stainless steel, vacuum-sealed tumblers and martini cup are perfect companions for your next outdoor adventure. Go to orcacoolers.com/bourbon for 15% off your order. That's orcacoolers.com/bourbon for 15% off. Orca, make it last. Today's show is also sponsored by our friends at distilleryproducts.com. If you are a store, you're a group, you're a blog, you're a podcast, you're a distillery, whatever it is, you need laser edge glassware at wholesale prices. Reach out to me. I'd be happy to get you in touch with the whole family behind distilleryproducts.com doing amazing things. We use them. You should too at distilleryproducts.com. Hey, y'all, I want to let you know we've teamed up with our friends at pickshop.com. They have an app, the Picks app. It is a new awesome thing that we're moving a lot of our stuff to. We're moving tastings there. We're moving posts there. We're not going to leave Instagram and Facebook and all the other places, but Picks is this really cool thing that we're getting to build with them. We're getting to build how you post. We're getting to build how you go ahead and put in a tasting. And these tastings will match you up to other people and other whiskeys that you are very compatible with based off of what you've put in for your tastings. There's so much stuff. I can't even tell you enough in a minute, but go to pickshop.com, hit the link, get the app, get in there, start tasting, start posting, be a part of the community. We're going to be there. You should be there too. Go to pickshop.com and get the app.
Here's an interesting for you, Edwards. So I'm sitting here sipping a Propel as we taste some whiskey and get ready to do a show. On the top of the cap here, it says recycle bottle with cap on. Have you ever thrown a bottle in the trash or recycling anywhere without putting the cap back on it? I mean, isn't that what people do?
Sometimes, but it's very rare that I don't put the cap back on. This is really making me question things. Or maybe do I throw it out with it open and then I also throw the cap in the trash? Has that happened? Maybe once or twice, but
why would they take the time to print it on there? Because again, I think that's the default of what people do, but it's almost like, hey, put the cap back on, or it's not going to conform as well to the recycling process or something like that. I mean, I get baffled by some dumb shit, but this is a good one.
Yeah, I'm definitely baffled by this too. I am very curious as to what's going on here.
As long as you don't have an answer for once, because normally when I throw out something you out of left field, well, it's one time I read something while I was taking a poo one day, and I happened to get 3 paragraphs in, and now I know this and this. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Savant over here just has dumb knowledge flowing everywhere. At least I finally stumped you a little bit.
Okay, I figured it out.
Man.
Since the caps are generally made out of high-density polyethylene and polypropylene, they will float and the plastic bottles will sink, making it easy for the facility to sort the different types of material and recycle them into new items. So the reason they want you to recycle with the cap on is because the cap will float.
Well, people, you learn something new every day, and today you got that from Dad's Drinking Bourbon. You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards. With me, as always, is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us part of your day. I'm realizing right now I should have just played that off like I didn't Google it. I should have just played it off like I knew it, and it really would have messed with you. But no, I Googled it. I'm just quick at Googling.
Well, if you'd have came out with the same answer that specific, I would have known you were reading it, because there's no way you're going to remember those words. But
I just would have said it floated.
I read this thing one time, and it's something about the polymers and the plastics and floating some weird way. I'm not really sure, but I read it once. But seriously, who would have ever thought that? I mean, Christ.
It is pretty good. If you're listening to this show, we are releasing 2 shows on Friday. If you've listened to the other show, welcome to the second show. If you haven't listened to the other show, we reviewed Elijah Craig Barrel Proof over on the other show today. Both short shows, you could get them done in a car ride or whatever, but we just wanted to make sure that we got all these reviews out. We have a whole bunch of reviews that we wanted to get to. And today, or this show today, the second show today, we're going to do Remus Repeal Reserve Batch VI. But I do have to ask you, like, anything good going on this weekend, Zeke?
Looks like wonderful fall weather. Probably hit a couple of parks here and there, maybe. Going to supper a couple of nights. Lachlan Table on Saturday, City House on Sunday. 2 long-standing Nashville staples that have always been some of my favorite places to eat, so I'm not complaining.
That is pretty ballsy, like putting out to the people where you're going to be this weekend, so they can all come find you. Everybody, if you're wondering where Zeke is, if you want him to sign your bottle, go ahead and find him at those 2 places this weekend. You could also find him walking in the park, which is something I would not expect to hear Zeke Baker say. Like, what you doing? I might hit up a park, might go for a nice little stroll.
It's a pretty time of year to go like Radnor or Percy Priest. And besides, Cheekwood charges money.
Cheekwood does charge money, but you could go to those other places for free.
Damn right. And carry a roadie.
I was going to say one of the best things that I think has happened this week is I've been having a lot of fun on Instagram wearing hats and just like being a goofball. And there is a company in Nashville, just a small plug, right? But it's American Paint Hat, and it's a place where you can actually go and show up and make custom hats. And they are a fan of Dad's Drinking Bourbon. You should check them out on Instagram, American Paint Hat. I am so excited they invited us to go make hats because I've been posting hats all week. Like, this is one of the things that I'm probably more excited about than anything in a long time, to go make a custom hat.
Yeah, if you can't clear your schedule sooner than later, I'm just going to be like, John, go when you can do, but they're a few blocks from me and I got every other weekend free, so let me know. Although I do wonder and kind of worry a little bit, do they know the circumference of our heads?
I don't know. I'm 7.5.
Oof. I'm 7 3/4, depending on how long my hair is, maybe a little more. I mean, I'm close to a 5-gallon bucket over here, man.
Oh, man. Like, they put extra fabric on my torso. They put extra fabric on your head.
We walk in, they're like, one size fits most. We've never had 2 people walk in at the same time that weren't most.
Man, that ego's so big in your head. Of course it's 7 3/4, right? I'm surprised it's not 8.5.
When I grew my hair out, it was pretty bad.
When you had that long hair, I mean, I could picture you in one of these hats, like with your hair when it was long, you would have been just like hipster heaven.
Yeah, no. It's not a good look for 40.
It isn't. But we are drinking Remus Reserve Series 6, and Ross and Squibb announced it will release its Remus Repeal Reserve Series 6 straight bourbon whiskey this September. Well, of course, we are getting to it right at the end of September. It is bottled at 100 proof, 50% ABV. It retails for $99.99 per 750 milliliter bottle. It was created by master distiller Ian Sturzman and his team of master distillers and master blenders. Series 6 comprises 5 bourbons aged between 8 and 14 years from its 175-year-old Lawrenceburg, Indiana distillery. Made in a signature high-rise style, the medley changes each year, allowing Sturzman and his team to experiment with their various mash bills and aged reserves. Remus Repeal Reserve Series 6 is comprised of 2% 2008 bourbon with 21% rye. So, I mean, this is all MGP, so I'm either going to say 21% rye or 36% rye. So 2% 2008 bourbon, 21% rye, 17% 2012 bourbon, 36% rye, 27% 2012 bourbon, 21% rye, 29% 2014 bourbon with the low rye, and then 25% 2014 bourbon with the high rye. That is it. That is all the information. 5 different bourbons between 8 and 14 years. All MGP stuff, which is now, Ross and Squibb. It sounds like a accounting firm rather than a distillery, but I mean, I'm not trying to hate on it. I really enjoy what MGP does, but never really got behind that whole Ross and Squibb name. I know it's supposed to mean something.
When you said it, I was like, huh?
Yeah, but it's MGP.
Yeah, it threw me off because I knew when they bought Luxro and everything that they ended up merging into a new name or absorbing under Luxro. But I swear I've never heard Ross and Squibb in my life. Only I thought I was like Bristol Myers Squibb just from pharmacy background, like not to throw people off, but that's what comes into mind.
What did you get on this whiskey, Zeke Baker? Or do you have any questions?
I don't think so. I was going to ask about the mash. Again, it's for everybody else that's kind of followed this series. It's still MGP. They started this out with Mets, years ago, kept it going. I am still kind of surprised they leave it at 100 proof. That still throws me off a bit, versus just letting to see what it comes out with. Because I feel like all these different ages and mashes that go in there inherently are going to be very different proofs. So then why put them all together and then water it down? I don't know. Splitting hairs.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I wish I knew. I really do. And I think maybe it has something to do with like the fact that George Remus, and I'm sure it goes back to George Remus somehow, right? Like,
that makes sense.
Because he was around during Prohibition, but I'm going to go to Google here.
Hey, it didn't lead you astray the first time for this episode.
Well, so it's 94 proof for the cheaper stuff. So I don't know. I don't think there's a really good reason why it's 100 proof. I couldn't tell you, it's meant to commemorate the repeal of Prohibition in 1933 and honor one of the oldest distilleries in the U.S., but I can't tell you exactly why it's 100 proof. It's a great question. Anyways, what'd you think about it?
Coming in on this one, I get a lot of char up front. Depending on how you're listening to the two shows from today, there are some similarities to this and the Elijah Craig we had earlier in the terms of the oak and the way it's presented. They're both pretty heavier forward to me, but I think this has a much more char aspect to it as opposed to Elijah Craig. It leads to some drying at the back. It has a very, very strong like rye spice to me, which coupled with that char in the mid palate, it really just kind of like gums up on you. I think the drying on the back end almost like keeps everything just sitting on the mid, and it ends up getting pretty viscous to me, and the heat just kind of ramps up as it sits there. And I definitely felt like, as opposed to having a finish, like in the back of the tongue or the palate or whatever, it just sits there in the middle and just hovers, because as soon as it tries to go to the back, it's so drying, your mouth starts salivating and you just pucker everything up, and it just sits right there in the middle and hangs. The rye kind of builds, it's a little warmer. It's got a neat feel to it, but more kind of char, salt, and spice than I really, jump into.
I understand that, but I don't think it's a lot, and again, not trying to give something away from the ECBP show, but that one just had so much spice, like so much rye tingle, that I don't get as much of that on this. The nose, I know you haven't been nosing much lately, but like the nose on this is straight potpourri. It's like one of those things like when your mom used to cook potpourri on the stove. Remember, did your mom ever do that?
No, I bought it at the store.
But Angie never like bought potpourri at the store and then went and cooked it on the stove?
Mama didn't cook nothing but a grilled cheese or roast beef in a crock pot.
Well, there was potpourri. You'd buy it from the store and then you'd put it in the stove with some water. And that's what would get it, and then you'd boil it. And that's what would get the house smelling good. That's what this reminds me of 110%.
I don't ever remember seeing that. I mean, people had potpourri, but it was always just like sitting out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying as far as like unlocking and opening the aromas and how the heat would do that, but I don't remember ever seeing it. Weird.
Oh, we absolutely had it. But like just potpourri on the nose, hard. The taste, yeah, some of that drying oak or some of that, oak is there, but it's not too dry for me. I still think there's enough notes. Like the mouthfeel was definitely silky, and I did get fruits, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of toffee, but yeah, there's charred oak and some leather in there too, but it's not anything. Like I think the thing about that Elijah Craig is that it was so just severe. It was so extreme, where this is like, hey, it's a little dry oak, but like it's low key dry oak. Like, and you can still taste some of the other stuff. That other pour was so just extreme. I couldn't even get any of the other notes. I can at least get all of the other notes on this one along with the drying oak characteristic.
I'm not getting anything past the mid. It just sits on the dead center of my tongue and just gums up. It gets thicker. That kind of char salt comes in, and it just gets more viscous as I taste it. And then ultimately, the rye spice is what kind of rises to the top, so to speak, and becomes the more noticeable and lasting flavor that just sits there. And again, honestly, right in the middle of my tongue. It's unique for sure in that essence.
For me, it is absolutely like just the finish is all toffee. That toffee taste it's almost like, a Reason candy or a Werther's candy just like sticks around. And this one goes down to the back of my throat. Like there's a lot of good stuff here. I enjoy it. I mean, it's not, I definitely would love a little bit of a sweeter oak, but I mean, I think this is definitely worth it. I always kind of feel like the Remus, they're always putting out good stuff. I know that there are going to be a lot of people that really like this profile. It's not overly dry. It's just like, it's low key dry. It's like 25% dry to me.
Yeah, in the past. I mean, I've been big on them. Although random, since they did do the merger and all the other, stuff in the past year or so, is this the first one the new guy's done? Or did he do last year's?
I don't know.
'Cause I feel like within the past year, they brought on or named the new master distiller, right? Or am I dreaming that? With COVID, it's really hard to put time into perspective for the past 3 years, I feel like.
I can't remember it at all, seriously. I wish I could.
Fair enough. I don't know. As far as for me in the umbrella of products coming out of Ross and Squibb, what I still love the most.
Oh, I just got one. I got another one. I'm sorry.
You're lucky to sit in the Mike and Danny episode, or you just got called a two-syllable word with an F-bomb.
I have 1.5 right now left and of course he's talking about Lux Row 12.
Yeah, that thing's great. If you're in Bardstown, they're open. It's not cheap. I know it's not. John and I are really cost conscious about ever recommending something that's expensive that's worth it. Christ, those things are good.
They are. They are really, really
the
good.
Lux Row 12 year, it's 2 barrels blended together. And even though they should be more nuanced, just being 2 barrels blended, they're really consistent and really damn good.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think for you, you're probably going to say this is a bar. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, again, whenever some of that, saltiness off the char and the barrel kick in, it just kind of gets me in an awkward spot. I don't know. If you've listened to us by now, I've been on a soapbox on that for a while. And I get not everyone picks it up. It's just my jam. So if I'm throwing you off, I apologize.
Typically, I'm on Zeke's side where I would feel the same way, and that drying stuff is there, and I kind of go away. But for this one, I get enough other flavor that I think and there's so many people out there I know that are just going to like this profile. So like, I'm not going to tell you not to get it. I think it's worth picking up a bottle. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think if you like sweet oak like we do, just know this one's a little dry. That's all you got to know. Anyways, we thank the good folks over there for sending us a bottle to review. We always appreciate it. You can find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Please leave us an open and honest review, just like we leave open and honest reviews about the whiskey we drink. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Before that, I'll say I'm going to save the other half of this, and I'll try it later with a different fresh palate, and we'll see what happens. If I need to correct myself, I will. Otherwise, we're here in good old Nashville, Tennessee, and I'll be out and about Saturday and Sunday.
Cheers.
Ciao.
We'll see you in the park.